Hey y'all, I'm gonna wait a second to see if some peeps pop on. I am super excited to be chatting with y'all tonight. Let's see if some peeps pop on. This is one of my favorite topics and something I'm super, super passionate about. Let's see if you're popping on, comment, let me know where you are watching from. I may be a little bit, oh yeah, I'm a little bit early. But we're just gonna wait a second. And yes, I do have notes because I am a squirrel. And if not, I'll end up telling you some story about something crazy if I don't keep myself on track. I wonder if anybody else can relate to me on that. So as you guys are popping on, let me know where you're from, when you joined, what your title is. Just talk to me. I love it when there's engagement. I'm just gonna mess with my lighting while I'm waiting. Hey Sandra, hey Tiffany. Let me know where you're watching from. Hey Anna. I think some more people are starting to pop on. We're gonna get started in just a second. I'm always so interested to know where people are, where you're located. I grew up a military kid, so I had friends all over, and I know that some of you guys are probably in California. I'm here in North Carolina, and it is 9 o'clock here, so my day is done. You guys are probably at dinner time. Tag your team members. All right, y'all, so I am going to go ahead and get started. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Chastity Robinson, and I am a Superstar Director for Group Shine Your Light, and I am located in Grays Creek, North Carolina. I joined Scentsy almost 6 years ago. It'll be 6 years this month, and I had zero intention of working this as a business. Honestly, I just joined to buy from myself because back then free shipping and a party was $150, and my mom and I were spending that much almost every month. But the person I was buying from lived about an hour and a half away, so I decided to join so I could ship it all to me, host my own parties, and that was it. I honestly wasn't even concerned about anything else. But God knew what he was doing. I was a single mom at the time. Going through a very nasty divorce. I am a domestic violence survivor. My ex-husband is a heroin addict, and I was going through a lot when I joined. And I think that actually really helped me get to where I am today. So anyway, I was also a teacher. I taught elementary for this would have been my 11th year, but I walked away from teaching, and I'm now doing Scentsy full time. And that was just all God, but that was never my intention. So and you guys that are just popping on, tell me what title you are, when you joined, why you joined, where you're watching from. I just want some engagement. But like I said, I was a single mom when I joined, and I was teaching. So if you know anything about being a mom or anything about teaching, that means you don't have a whole lot of time. Teachers weren't getting paid very much. And also I was always bringing work home, and I was a single parent. When I say single parent, I don't mean he was getting the kids on the weekends. Zero money, zero support, completely by myself. And so I found a way, once I realized that this was going to work for me, to completely build my business to where I could walk away from teaching because of this. So if you have a goal of just working this as a habit, that's okay. If you have a goal of working this to eventually replace your income, that's possible for you too. You just have to decide what it is and believe in it. Now, tonight we're going to be talking about consistency and planning in your business. If you want long-term success, let's see. I'm trying to see if I swiped away. No, I didn't. Okay. If you want long-term success in this business, it doesn't matter what you do once. It only matters what you do consistently. It doesn't matter what you do once. It only matters what you do consistently. And in saying that, science says that 45% of our behavior is from habit. 45%. And I'm going to ask you another question. How many of you guys have ever driven home or driven to work and you don't even remember doing it? I know I have. How many of you have ever done that? Or how many of you have ever been taking a shower and you always like wash your hair and shave your legs and do all those things in a certain order, but then all of a sudden you can't remember if you washed your body, right? Because it was a habit. It didn't require any brain or much brain power. So I say all of that to say that it's much more energy efficient to automatically do something than have to decide to do something new. So once again, think about if you tried to form a new habit of drinking more water or going to the gym. It's hard at first because your brain isn't programmed to do that habit. And it's so much easier for you to default to something that's automatic, like going home and watching Netflix, rather than completing a new habit. So that is why, all of that boring talk, that is why forming good habits in your business is key. Forming good habits is key. And when I say good habits, we're going to talk about that here in just a few minutes. But another reason why forming good habits in your business is key is because who's ever had a bad day? Who's ever felt really overwhelmed? Who's ever had something tragic happen in your life and you just let everything go? Everything extra go. And a lot of times what happens when somebody's sad or they're going through depression or they have something tragic happen in their family or they get overwhelmed because their kids have a bunch of sports, the first thing to go is their business. When in reality, that needs to be the last thing to go. You need to pick your kit up and use it as a reason instead of an excuse. Because something that I've heard Jennifer Anderson is the first one I ever heard say it. Do not let temporary feelings affect your 5-year dreams. Because in 3 months, when baseball season's over and you haven't worked your business because you were too overwhelmed because you didn't have good habits in place, you're going to sit back and have to rebuild and wish that you had worked on that thing and created those good habits. I'm not saying that you can't grieve. I'm not saying that you can't be sad. I'm not saying all of that. But if you form good habits, it's going to be a lot harder for you to break them. So when something tragic happens, you can continue to do it, because I can promise you, and I've been there for a year, I sat in depression and I sat in excuses and I let the way that I was feeling affect my habits, affect my dreams, affect everything. I didn't feel like doing it, so I didn't. I didn't have enough willpower to make myself because I was in a really bad place. And I let a temporary feeling affect my 5-year dreams, and I spent a year rebuilding from that. So don't do it like me. Do not do it like me. This past year, when I had my grandmother pass away, and then 2 years ago when I had my brother and best friend pass away, I had set myself up with good habits and systems in my business. So yes, I took time to grieve. Yes, I did. There was absolutely days when that happened that I didn't work my business. But it was a whole lot easier for me to pick it up and do little things than if I was starting from scratch when I was grieving. So what I mean by that is it's hard to make decisions when you're stressed, sad, or overwhelmed. So when this happens, you're just going to do nothing, or you're going to revert to your bad habits. This is why you can't just depend on motivation. You have to have willpower, and systems in place. What I mean by that is motivation cannot be given to you by someone else. Number one, you can't motivate your team. Number two, motivation is fleeting. Some days you wake up and you just you're just in a bad mood and you have really low energy. Some days you wake up and you feel great. But you cannot just rely on motivation. You cannot only work when you feel like it, because I can promise you're probably going to feel like it a whole lot less than you will feel like it. I promise you. And if you have the willpower to keep the promises that you made to yourself, you can find success. Now, all of that being said, you have to know what those habits are. You have to set that up. You have to decide what those things are that you are going to work on. And I'm going to use this as an example, use myself as an example today. I'm going to be honest with you. Transitioning from being a teacher and a mom to two, and my husband's a police officer, and all the crazy hours, I was always go, 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 go. I never had time to sit down and do anything. That was my life before I quit teaching. Now I'm working from home, and I'm going to be honest with you, it's hard. It's hard to work from home because I don't necessarily have to be anywhere. I've had a really hard time like getting myself together and setting a schedule for myself, but I know that a schedule is what's going to make me thrive. And so, for instance, today, if you are not brand new, you've been with this business for a while, you have a lot of things that you're transitioning. Everybody, honestly, unless you just joined, you have a lot of things you're transitioning from spring to fall. We have a lot of things that we need to print, we need to do all of that. And I was feeling super anxious and super overwhelmed, and I was in a squirrel loop. Like, I would get on the internet to go do something, and then the next thing I know, I'm stalking somebody on Facebook. That doesn't even matter anymore, right? I don't know. I cannot be alone. Please let me know I'm not alone. But I was running around doing all of the other things instead of the things I had planned to do today. And you have to own your time. Don't let your time own you. So what I did is I walked out of my office and I had a little pep talk. I stopped what I was doing. I did a quick brain dump of all of the different things that were running through my head, because let's be honest, when you start working on something and the creative juices are flowing and you come up with an idea, and I don't know about you, but if I don't write it down, I'm never going to remember. I did a quick brain dump. I put it over to the side and I got back to my things that I needed to do today. And I'm going to talk to you about what that looks like. And once I stopped what I was doing and I went back, and what I do per day is I say 3 things. I made myself go do the 3 things that I said I was going to do today. And I immediately felt better. Yes, all of those other things that were going on in my head still need to be done. Those things I was squirreling about, but those weren't the 3 things that I said that I needed to do today, but I accomplished them. Okay? Now, like I said at the beginning, if you want long-term success, it doesn't matter what you do once, it matters what you do consistently. Okay? Consistency over perfection. How many of you guys have ever been on social media and you compare yourself? Or you see all of these ideas and you get overwhelmed and you're like, oh, I'm never going to be able to do all of that. Mine's not going to look as good. I don't want to post that on the team page. I don't want to share that. It doesn't look as good, right? I know I can't be alone in that either. Your customers and your team members don't want that person you're comparing yourself to. They want you. They want you, not somebody else. And you cannot try and be somebody that you're not. I'm not one of those people that loves to do crafts. I hate it. I don't do crafts with my kids. I'm not going to pretend to do crafts in my business and pretend like I like it. I hate my handwriting. I could just never post anything that has my handwriting, but that's not going to bring me joy, right? So don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Worry about what consistency looks like for you. Okay? All right. So now let's talk planning. How many of you guys are planner people? How many of you guys have systems in place? Do you know what a system is? How do you hold yourself accountable? Talk to me. Okay, so the secret to your success in this business is going to live and die by your daily agenda. Okay? Your daily agenda. How many of you guys work full time? How many of you have kids? Tell me about like what you do. Yes, Teresa. In between planning and, okay. Now, I know that when you work full time and you have a family, you don't have a lot of time, but let me tell you something. I built this business on 30 minutes a day. That's all you need. I built my entire business on 30 minutes a day. And I didn't even join to do this as something I wanted to do forever. Okay, so let me show you something. This is what planning and consistency does for you. And I'm going to share something with you. This is my award ribbon when I went to my very first reunion in Nashville. I was a shooting star, or I was a superstar consultant. I didn't even earn Sensational Star at level 3. And it was my first time there. I was only Sensational Star at level 2. I did qualify. This was my ribbon when my very first reunion. Okay. I went to that reunion and that was when I woke up. That was when I saw and I heard people speak and say, I heard Laura Godwin, she was a shining star. She was a teacher before she decided to do Scentsy full time. I heard her up there and I heard her passion and I heard her share it. And I realized that I could do that. That I could walk away. I didn't have to be a slave to the classroom if I didn't want to. That I could be present with my kids. This was my very first one. Like I said, I woke up that reunion. That reunion completely changed my life. Everything about it completely changed because of that reunion. The very next year, and when I sat there in Nashville, I was like, and I saw these directors walking across the stage and doing all the things. I was like, I want that. In teaching, they only ever tell me anything I'm doing wrong. I want to walk across that stage. I want to be recognized. I want a team name. I want that. When I got home, I put my head down and I got to work, and this was my next one. The very next year. I had promoted to director. I earned annual mentor. I missed annual sales that I didn't even know about that award at that time by 2,000. Kill me now. I presented at that SFR, and I earned top 100 Africa in a year because I put my head down and I did the things that mattered consistently. If you are saying that you don't have enough time to work this business, it's because you're working on things that don't matter. So put your tasks in a system, in your calendar, in a checklist, whatever it is that's going to work for you. You cannot go and find my systems or Christina Stainbrook's or somebody else's and print it and go. You just can't, because it's not going to work for you and you're going to get frustrated and give up. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. What worked for me while I was working full time doesn't work for me now. And that's exactly what I've been going through this past year, is trying to figure out what my schedule needs to look like, how I can hold myself accountable, because what was working then doesn't work now. So you have to decide what that's going to be. So if you're doing something now and it's not working, stop doing it and figure out what is going to work. So what I do, especially when I was working, is I would have a top 3. So every single day I would have 3 things that I needed to do for my business. And when I say 3 things that I need to do, I mean income producing activities. Does anybody know what income producing activities are? Tell me what income producing activities are. Income producing activities, especially when you're low on time. Those are the things you have to do first. Everything else is extra. Income producing activities. And the reason why I say 3 is because 3 is attainable. But when I say 3, that means come hell or high water, I'm going to have those 3 things done. Those 3 things are going to be done before I go to bed. But this is how I also, this is how I also save myself from getting overwhelmed. I have a brain dump paper, right? And then even on that brain dump paper, sometimes that even gets pushed off to another list. So I have another list over here that says training videos to complete. This isn't anything that needs to be done right now. These are things that I've had an idea about that I know my team needs that I'm going to get to, and it'll be a top 3 when it's important, when I have time. Okay? I have other things. So that was training videos. I have another list of other things to do. These are things that go off of my brain dump list that are maybe not important right now. I have a running list of things I need to do. And once you write it down and once you put it somewhere and it's out of your brain, you're going to feel so much more freedom. And then I also have lists of like marketing material that I need to order, list, etc. Putting it out here has saved my soul because it's free of my brain. Okay? So when I say top 3, or when I'm talking about income producing activities, have you ever heard this? Sales are your income for today. Parties are your income for tomorrow. And sponsoring or new team members is your income for the future. So sales is your income for today because you get paid on it once. You get that gratification today. Parties are your income for tomorrow because you are front loading. You are meeting new people. That is residual income. And then recruits or sponsoring is your income for the future. Why? Because if you continue to grow your business, you can continue to teach your people, you're earning money while you sleep. That's residual income. If people understood what it meant to grow in a network marketing business, so many more people would be doing it. They would stop calling it a pyramid scheme and they would be running through the door to get here. They want to make fun of us because they don't understand. The only thing I see about a pyramid is a CEO and all of the people underneath it, right? So let's talk about income producing activities. Let's talk about daily activities. So these are some things that I do daily. Daily, guys. Daily. I talk to at least 5 people a day. I call it my daily 5. When I just call it my daily 5, and I say 5 because 5 is easy. So on those days that I was really busy, if I only did 5, that's fine. Usually I push myself to do more than that. But when I say daily 5, that is 5 people that I am going intentionally talking to. That doesn't mean just liking their posts. That doesn't mean inboxing them and spamming them. That means building a relationship with them. Okay? Daily 5. I'm an introvert. I don't know about you, but I would sit up in my office and never talk to anybody and be completely fine. I'm not a people person. I'm super awkward. I'll say the stupidest stuff, and I would literally be completely fine in silence all the time. And so talking to people and intentionally going and building relationships and commenting on stuff and doing that is something I had to be very intentional about. Because if not, I would go weeks without speaking to anybody on Facebook or social media. But you have to be intentional, okay? So when I say daily 5, and when I say intentional, I'm also being very intentional with that. You should always have a running list of people. A list of 100, some people call it. And then also like my dream team list. These are people that I want to join my team. You should always have a list. So if you're sitting there like, oh, I don't know who else to talk to, you should always have a list. Another activity that I do is to add people on social media daily. Usually it's 5. I'm not going and spamming and just adding random people, but I'm going out into groups that I'm interested in. I'm going out into my social media because I've been very intentional with that this year and connecting with people who are like-minded and who are interested in the same things. Okay. And then I'm adding them to my list. Why? Because you're never going to remember who all you've talked to. Anytime you have any type of join conversation, anytime someone even jokes about possibly wanting to join, they need to go on your dream team list. Okay. Not only do I have my dream team list, actually, I don't call it a list of 100. I have a Frank's list. And what that means is like friends, relatives, acquaintances, neighbors, kids, and social contacts. I try to add to this daily. I keep this right next to my desk and I have to be intentional about it because your girl won't do it. Also, if you didn't know, on Facebook, you can create a favorites list. So who do you think went on my favorites list? My dream team members. So what do you think I do when I need to be intentional with connecting with people and building relationships with them? I'm going to go to my favorites tab and do those first. Then I'm going to go through and do more stuff. But you have to be intentional. So, like we said, sales are your income for today. So when it comes to sales, sales are not something that always comes automatically. So when I say I'm talking to people on social media and connecting with my daily 5, I'm building a relationship with them outside of Scentsy. Okay? And that's why you always have to be a revolving door, because if you're going to find success, you're eventually going to recruit or sponsor all of your best customers. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt like 3 times. So you always have to be building that. Something that I set on my goal list every month is a minimum number of new customers. And I leave that on my goal list right there in front of my office, or right there in front of my desk. So 10 new customers. Why? Because you have to be intentional. People will get upset over not being able to find 2,000 PRV, but when I ask them how many new customers they gained last month, they have no idea. Or they say none. I have to be intentional. I'm not going and hawking these people out though. Understand that this is a marathon, not a sprint. So I have goals. And then for my sales as well, another goal that I set for myself every single month is new Scentsy Club subscribers. I set a number to that. Why? I don't just say new Scentsy Club subscribers. I say 5 new Scentsy Club subscribers. So as I go, I can put little tick marks next to it, because you have to set a goal that's attainable. Now, all of the things that I'm doing daily are going to add into those monthly goals though. So once again, I have adding so many new customers every month, adding so many new club subscribers every month. Why club subscribers? If you're not promoting Scentsy Club, you need to. If you don't have a Scentsy Club, you need to. You can't ask your customers to do something that you're not willing to do yourself. But like we said, Scentsy Club, I recruit a lot out of those people, because they're already in love with Scentsy. They're already getting it all the time. So when it comes to income producing activities, Scentsy Club is one of them, talking about it, okay? Other income producing activities are following up. You need to follow up with your customers. You need to make sure that they are taken care of. For me, when I was working full time, I didn't do follow up every day. I couldn't do it every day because I was just way too overwhelmed. I would do follow up on Fridays. And that was how I followed up. I use the Sell with Amy app. If you don't have a follow-up system, I would suggest researching that and find something that works for you. But I love the app as long as you adjust it to make it work for you. When it comes to customer follow-up, when it comes to creating daily habits and systems, you always want to work smarter, not harder. I use the app Reach, REACH, to do text message follow-up. It is like a mass text follow-up system type thing. It's an app. I do pay $4.99 for it, but I'm able to write my text one time. I have my customer group of who I need to send it to, and that's where I can send that to follow-up. So I send it out of AMI, but I have that list imported in there, if that makes sense. So for instance, when I send out my Scent of the Month mail, all of those people are in a contact group. And so when it's time for me to do my customer follow-up for that specific time, I can put them in that app and I create my text, I send it out, and then I'm starting to follow up. Another tip for customer follow-up with income producing, once again, like I said, income producing, and you can do it in 30 minutes. I turn my phone on Do Not Disturb when I do my customer follow-up. I will set a timer and say, okay, I'm going to do customer follow-up for 15 minutes. These are the things that I'm going to do. I put it on D&D. Why? Because I am a squirrel and I will get distracted and start responding to the people I was following up with. No, it ain't time to have that conversation. I'm sending all of those follow-up texts to all of the people that I need to send them to. I'm going in my orders tab to send people shipping information. I'm following up with people to make sure they opened up order, all of those different things, but my phone's on D&D. I don't care who's texting me back. I don't care who's asking me questions. My phone's on D&D until I'm done, because I'm going to earn my time and own my time. Because if not, Chastity will start responding to somebody, and then I'm not even following up anymore, and I only did 5 follow-ups when I needed to do 30 minutes worth, and it's a whole thing. So I turn my phone on D&D, and I do all of that first. Once I send those texts, then I can go back later, turn my phone off of D&D once I've done my other income producing activities for the day, and then I can talk with those people and actually like build relationships. That's not being ugly, that's being smart. Because I don't know about you, but I always get distracted when someone texts me and then my phone's vibrating. It's just like a whole thing. Turn your phone on D&D when you do that, okay? Something else, some other things that are income producing, like I said, for daily stuff is meeting new people, which is adding people on social media, which is going out into the community and meeting people. Yes, you actually have to talk to people. Yes, you have to be well connected. When you are building relationships with people, ask for referrals. It's not crazy. Our businesses thrive on referrals. And then networking. Okay? So all of those things come down to sales. Now, also, that kind of comes into social media and sharing things. When I say that I'm going to plan, like for my social media, for sales, for whatever, I'm going to show up on social every single day. Yes, there's been some times where I've been going through stuff where I haven't, but I'm going to show up. But the reason why I'm able to do that is because I plan it. I plan it week by week. Okay? What I mean by that is I sit down whatever day, it's not always the same day because I used to do Sundays and that just doesn't work for me anymore. I sit down one day and I plan my post for my actual like real social media, not my team pages or whatever. So I can say it's Minifan Monday, it's Wax Wednesday. I plan out my business posts. I don't necessarily plan out like the other posts in between, like my family stuff or my true crime stuff, but I plan out my business posts and I create my content and my captions. Because if not, y'all, you'll spend so much time, and I'm so guilty of this, spending all my whole day creating a post and then looking up stuff and doing all the different things. So you have to be a planner when it comes to that, because if you don't plan, you'll end up wasting your whole day. Now, also when it comes to income producing activities and parties, I know that parties have been kind of like a hit and miss thing this year because of COVID or whatever else, but parties are coming back. Open house for the fall is something that you need to do. Asking people to have a Scent Social, asking them to do a shop and share link, asking them to do all of those different things. Parties are not dead. Parties are not dead. Parties are coming back. We just have to adapt. And if the way that you were doing parties before wasn't working, do something different. Okay? So make sure that you are talking about parties, because that's how you're going to meet new people. And that's when it's like a daily activity. Okay? And then recruits are your income for forever. You should always, always, always be building your list. Your eyes should always be on when looking for opportunities. And if you can become a professional problem solver, that is what is going to help you so much in your business. Become a professional problem solver. If you can solve people's problems for them, it's going to be like they feel like you're talking directly to them, and you are. Love you, Wendy. And this is what I want you guys to know. We have something that people lay in bed at night and pray to have. There is somebody that is watching you that needs this opportunity that you may be frustrated with because they haven't bought from you yet. There are always people watching. Your family may be watching and not supporting you. My family doesn't support me. Your significant other may not support you right now. Mine didn't. He came around because he saw what it did, not only for me financially, but also for up here, but also for my confidence. If you don't believe that yet, I suggest you do some digging into Scentsy and our core values and what we believe in our CEOs. Because I can promise you that Scentsy is the solution for every problem that people have. We just have to find it. We just have to find it. Ariel, something that, that is something that a lot of people say, is that people will say, well, my spouse thinks that I spend more than I make. This is something I've always heard Orville say. You spend Scentsy money on family, not family money on Scentsy. You spend Scentsy money on family, not family money on Scentsy. And it's when you're really passionate and when you really love a product, it's really easy to get yourself into that loop of spending too much or comparing yourself or thinking that you have to make all of these other samples and like you have to do all these crazy mail outs. Just remember that on your team pages, on social media, etc., you don't know what other people's backstories are. I can do things now that I couldn't do 2 years ago with samples, with mail outs, because I couldn't, because I had a budget. And it's always really, really important to remember where you came from. So it's important for us as leaders too. That's what team pages are for, though. And that's what your community is for. So remember that. Does anybody have any questions, first of all? Just remember this. If you're frustrated because you don't feel like anybody is seeing your post, or no one, or the people you thought were going to support you aren't supporting you, or you're frustrated because you have big goals and you don't see the needle moving, or if you are stuck in the comparison loop where you feel like you're never going to be good enough, or you're disappointed because you didn't earn that promotion that you wanted. I want you to know that all of those feelings are valid and that all of those feelings are normal. We feel that, SSDs feel that way. We're not immune to it. But I want you to know the only difference between a superstar director and a brand new certified consultant is the amount of times that we've heard no and the consistency that we've shown. The amount of times that we've heard no and the consistency that we've shown. Okay? There's no difference. It does get easier, but you have to stay consistent. You have to show up even when you don't feel like it. That's when it matters the most. It matters the most when you don't feel like it. There are people watching you who are waiting for you to fail. Don't let them. Don't let them. Don't let them. A lot of the people who laughed at me, who left me on red, who never supported me in the beginning, they're on my team now. Or they've came to me. Or they're asking me how I did it. They're watching. I've had numerous different people come to me and join my team and tell me that they were watching me, but they never liked any of my posts, never commented on anything, never bought from me. So you need to keep showing up as you. Don't give up. Be authentic. And know that God is going to bless you. You're here for a reason. You got onto this call for a reason. You needed to hear this. You needed to see this. You needed to know that being consistent is so much more than perfection. I show up on my story with my kids acting like an ass. I show up on my story cussing. I show up with no makeup on. I show up with all the makeup on. I show up and say stupid stuff. But I'm unapologetically me. And I'm consistent. People need to know that you are their Scentsy lady and you're not going anywhere. People need to know that you take this seriously. People need to know that you can't knock them down. People need to know that they don't have to support you. You're going to keep showing up and doing you because God's got a plan. God's got a plan for you. And I know that if you want to make this a life-changing decision, you want to work this full-time, There's room for everybody at the top. You're not too late. There's not too many consultants. There's no such thing as scarcity in this business. Don't let anybody ever tell you that. There are new people being born every single day and new people turning 18 every single day. It is a revolving door. It is a revolving door. So it's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel like you don't know what you're doing. I don't know what I'm doing. But what I do is I plan. I pick out my 3 income producing activities: sales, partying, recruiting, meeting new people, adding to my list, talking to my dream team, sharing products, all of those things. I plan those things and then I work on the extras later. That's all that matters. Does anybody have any questions for me? Just remember that whatever you plan to do, even if you wake up and you don't feel like it, keep those promises to yourself. Keep the promises that you made to yourself, because fulfillment in this business and feeling fulfilled and feeling successful and feeling like you are completing things, that's an inside job. Only you can fulfill yourself, and only you can keep the promises that you made. So only you get to decide those things. I know your team page is full of ideas and all of the different things to work. The most important thing I can do, or the most important thing I can say to you, is to show up. Even if you don't know what you're doing, be excited. Let people know how much you love this business. Let people know how much you love our products. Solve their problems. Provide value. Why should someone want to follow you? Why should someone want to join your team? Don't spam them with flyers. Nobody wants a flyer. They want to see you. They want to see the products in action. They want to know that you use those products. They want to know that you know that they could, I lost my train of thought because I just read that question. What would you say to those that feel so stuck and they don't know where to start to get out of it? I would say to wipe the slate clean. Go back to basics. Wipe the slate clean and start over. Make a list of the people. Make a dream team list. Then I want you to think about, if you're in a rut or you're feeling overwhelmed or you're feeling defeated, wipe the slate clean. Stop doing things that don't bring you joy. That's what happens a lot of times, is that people are doing things that don't bring them joy. Doesn't bring me joy to do crafts. Doesn't bring me joy to do monthly themed boxes. That's just not me. So stop doing things that don't bring you joy. Find a way to do it that's going to make you happy. And get back to basics. Meaning, show your face on social media. Show how you use the products. You don't have, every single post that you do shouldn't be selling to people. So start from the beginning, come up with your list, and just start being consistent. Your day one can be today, but you have to start and you have to make the choice to start. As for that, like I said, stop doing things that don't bring you joy. Share what you love about the products. Share that you use them. Share that you use them. If you're not using every single one of our products, you need to be. And if you're not sharing that you're doing your laundry or sharing that you are using Counter Clean, start there. Start there, because that's all people want to know. People want to see your life. People want to know what you like. How many of you guys have ever shared your Starbucks drink? Or I shared teleties, that I really like these hair ties. Those are the types of things that build trust. Those are the types of things that can help you get out of that rut. You just have to build relationships with people. But wipe that slate clean. Stop doing everything that doesn't bring you joy. Just stop. Don't try and be someone that you're not. Okay? I hope that answered your question. That is when I would find myself really burned out and really unhappy, is when I was trying to do things that didn't make me happy, that I felt like I needed to do. You're your own business owner, y'all. You decide what the rules are. You decide what you want to do. Now, yes, there are people that, and this is another thing. Our team pages, Facebook, social media, all of that, there are so many ideas out there that you can get you see all the stuff, you get really overwhelmed, and you feel less than, then you do nothing, you freeze. I don't know about you, but when I get overwhelmed, I freeze. If you really like that idea or whatever it is and you do want to do it, put it on your running list, but don't let it take over today of your income producing activities. Don't let it take over from today. And if it's something that you don't want to do, don't do it. If it's going to make you angry and hate life, don't do it. Like, don't do it. Don't do it. You don't have to. You don't have to. If bingo parties give you anxiety the way that they did me, I don't do them. Because I can't handle it. And it doesn't bring me joy, and then I don't want to do it. And if I don't want to do it, I'm not going to do it well. Then I'm going to look forward. Then I'm not going to look forward to it. Then I'm going to be anxious. It's like a whole cycle. Any other questions, y'all? Share your story. Share why you joined Scentsy, and is another thing for if you're feeling like very much in a rut. Go back to your why. Why did you join? What did you want from this business? Go back to that. Sometimes we really have to take it all the way back, because you need to have a why that's going to make you jump out of bed in the morning. You need to have a why that's going to make you do the things that you don't want to do when you don't want to do them. You have to make yourself. I didn't want to get up earlier in the morning and do trainings on my team page on the way to work. I didn't want to stay up till midnight when I had to get up at 5 in the morning bagging up customer stuff. But I had 5-year dreams. I quit my job. But if I didn't go back to my why and remember why I was doing it, I would have quit. So it's okay. Rest. Don't quit. All right, y'all. So I hope that was helpful. I love y'all. If y'all have any questions, I am an open book, and I will make sure that this is posted on here. And then I will also, if you guys want them, I can share with you some of my tracking systems and what I use. But once again, remember, what works for me may not work for you. And you just got to tweak it. You've just got to tweak it. All right. I will talk to y'all soon.